Welcome to Kennel Island. Shipwrecked and awaiting rescue, I'll be uncovering the survival kits selected by fellow members of the kennel and finding out why they picked them. They have 6 items to get them through: 1 food item, 1 drink, 1 personal item, 1 song, 1 book, and 1 movie. So join me as I discover what our castaway creatures have chosen to get them through their stay on Kennel Island. Hello and welcome to another edition of Kennel Island, and today is a very special edition because on November the 9th, 2019, a new Mr. Pup UK was crowned, and we are very fortunate to be joined today on Kennel Island by the pup himself. So please welcome Mr. Pup UK 2020/21, Pup Hunter.
Oh,
Hello.
hello.
How are you?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Very, very good.
Good.
Yeah, I'm coping. That's the main thing. I'm sure it's the only thing we can do.
At the
Um,
moment, yes.
exactly, yeah. So let's get straight into it because I'm curious, and I'm sure a lot of people are as well. What exactly is Mr. Pup UK? What's it all about?
So, Mr. Puppy UK is a yearly election normally. Obviously, we haven't had one to replace me yet. Obviously, due to COVID, we haven't been able to do much.
Hmm.
Um, so, Mr. Puppy UK is the title holder of the United Kingdom's Pups and Handlers community.
Hmm.
And we're here to promote and support the community, not just here in the UK, but to represent it European wide and internationally wide. So we have the contest every year, and we will have a new pup every year to represent our country.
Awesome, excellent. And what are the entry requirements to be Mr. Pup UK?
Anyone can enter.
Hmm.
So for the first time, when I was a candidate,
Hmm.
we actually opened it up to females and to transgender, to all genders.
Hmm.
I don't know if you can actually quite see it, but this Mr. bit here is now adjustable. So it's got adjustable pronouns. So it's got Mr., Ms., and MX. So any pronoun they identify as,
Uh-huh.
whoever is the next one after me, they can have their adjustable pronoun on this lovely, lovely leather sash.
That's beautiful. What a great idea to include everybody. I think that's obviously very, very important. And especially the MX section now, I think that's more important today than ever, obviously. But no, that's absolutely excellent. So how many people are sort of is it narrowed down to in the competition when it gets to say like the finals?
So the way they do it, you will fill out an online application.
Uh-huh.
You do a little video on, you can put it on your social medias. Most pups are on Twitter, so most of them will put it on there.
Uh-huh.
It's just a quick video to say you want to be Mr. Puppy, or well, as we will now say it, as Puppy UK, and whichever their pronoun is
Hmm.
for that year. What you want to do for your year, and then the judging panel, which is consisted of the Mr. Puppy, well, sorry, the title holder, I should say.
Mm.
Whoever is the outgoing one, they will be the head judge, and then it's a mixture of community members within the pup community and the wider fetish community. So for my year, we had Trumpet as the
Okay.
head judge because he was the outgoing Puppy UK. We had Richie from Czech Republic. He was a Mr. Puppy there. Um, we had Mario, who was a Mr. Rubber Europe finalist. If I've got that wrong, he's going to kill me. Oh God, who else did we have? I can't remember. I'm gonna get in so much trouble for not remembering.
We can
But they
edit.
will
We can edit. Don't worry.
they will choose the final, however many it is. So in my year, there was 7 of us.
Mhm.
So we had 2 pups who identified as transgender. We had Puzzle and Parker. We had a pup of color, Noir. We had Dex, who was amazing. Parade, again, a really, really amazing puppy. Myself, and we had our first ever female entrant in Rogue. Rogue competed in the first ever Miss Puppy UK, which was set up by someone else,
Mm.
and then decided to bring it over to here.
Fantastic. And was who was Pup Congeniality? Was that Dex?
That was Dex,
It
yes.
was Dex. Brilliant. And obviously, talk about the time. Let's talk about the time when you actually heard your name called. I mean, I've seen photos. I've seen photos of you online, but how did that feel?
it was the most unexpected
Mm.
time. Um, I I entered it because I always said to myself, have a go at it.
Mm.
You'll never know if you don't try it. And in truthfully honest, I don't think anyone expected me, especially when there was Rogue, uh, Puzzle, Parker, Noir. All of them has such potential talent to do it.
Yeah.
So as they were, when they called Dex's congeniality, I was like, hang on, no, that okay, fair enough. That's what I aimed for. So congeniality was my
Ah.
target. If I got that, I would have been happy.
Mm.
Announcing second runner up, I was like, okay, I get that. I've done better than expected. Obviously, it went to Parker. I was like, okay, first runner up, absolutely 100%. I have done way better than expected. And it went to Rogue.
Mm.
And I went, oh my God, have I not? I've not placed. Oh, well,
Oh no.
And then they said my name.
Wow.
And thank God we didn't have mics on at the time because I just remember just going like this. I went on the floor. I hit my head on the stage
Oh
in
no.
tears, and I just started crying. Like I remember shuffling forward to trumpets. He was awarding me the sash and all that. I was crying. I was
Wow.
swearing under my breath a lot. It was just I don't cry at a lot of things, and I promised myself I wouldn't cry,
Mm.
but I just couldn't help it.
Well, of course not. No, I mean it must have been an amazing feeling of people, all these people accepting you and saying that you are worthy of this title, which must be an incredible feeling. And as you say, it was so unexpected. Then wow, yeah. I mean, there was a lot of talent there, but there's something about you clearly that was outstanding. Do you know what it would have
Absolutely.
been? I mean, what do you feel? Because it's hard to talk about yourself sometimes and say what your amazing qualities are. But do you feel there was something in particular that made you stand out from the rest?
Um, I put it down to my interaction to the community and
Mm,
to the people who were there that day. You have obviously you're on stage. You have your talk with the host of it, who we had Rob Wild, also known as Piglet, who was the second Mr. Pup UK for 2017.
mhm,
We had Vivian Lindsay as his host as well, and she was brilliant. You do your presentation, which is like a 2 minute talk of what you want to do for your year, how you're going to do it.
mm,
You do your performance, and everyone's like presentation and performance was amazing. So I couldn't have put it down to them.
mm.
But also, you're judged on interacting with the audience that's there. And as we was at RVT, Royal Vauxhall Tavern in London, um, there was quite a few pups there, and I tried to get around there as much as I could.
Yeah,
Just talk to anyone and everyone, just so then I can be shown that I'm out there.
yeah,
Not to say that any of the other contestants didn't do that. I just think I pushed myself out of my comfort zone to do that.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, congratulations, obviously.
Thank you.
So tell us about the hashtag It's Okay to Be Me. I was quite intrigued about that. I didn't see much information about it, just that there was an announcement coming. Do you have any more information on your vision?
Yeah, so It's Okay to Be Me is promoting, supporting, and protecting the pups and handlers community here in the UK and taking it worldwide.
Mm,
As the years have gone on, the pup community has developed more and more and more.
mm,
Um, Back when it started, it was seen as one role and one, in a set way. And we've come out of that role and we've evolved into this community now, which has pup events, not just up and down here in the United Kingdom, but across the world, in America, Europe, Australia, they're everywhere.
mm.
And as we've come out more and more, there has been backlash more and more. They're saying, we shouldn't be welcome at Pride. And that's not just pups in general, that's kink in general. We
Mm,
don't have a place in Pride where we should have a place in Pride.
yeah,
Um, and it's just promoting us and showing we're not what people think we are. There's been awful, awful people out there, turfs, who call us out going, we're corrupting children, we've been corrupted by the generation before us.
mm,
And it's like, no, it's not. We are here as a community because being a puppy, being Hunter, I can be myself a lot more than I could be as my human self.
yeah,
I have a lot more confidence. I have a lot more expression in myself. I can be who I want to be.
mm-hmm,
And I just want to take that everywhere. So whoever's a pup, there is a lot of people and who want to be pups, but they're scared of taking it out into the wider community because of being judged.
yeah,
And I want to show them that it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to go out there. Yes, you're going to get people who say, this is weird, you're a freak, you're not, you're not welcome here.
Mm.
But there is those safe spaces that do welcome you. And that's another point of it, to protect those safe spaces. So when I launched it,
Mm.
My home community, Birmingham, which hosts Club Squitches, which was created by Mr. Puppy UK 2018 and Mr. Puppy Europe 2019, Boomy, Eden was under threat of being closed by redevelopment. So I was fighting really hard, leading the charge in it, saying, no, this is staying, because it was not just the pups' home, it was a home to a wide range of communities. And Gary and Cal, who owned Eden, they were so welcoming to anyone and everyone who wanted to be there,
Mm.
And unfortunately, they did close down. It wasn't because of redevelopments. Unfortunately, the global pandemic of COVID-19 and the lack of support
Mm.
from the UK government to the hospitality sector,
Yeah.
it collapsed them. And unfortunately, they couldn't continue. No, I know they said they will reopen somewhere when it's all safe again,
Mm.
but it was just, sadly, COVID took it. So I've always said, if there's any bars out there that host pup events or wider kink events, if they want the help, they want someone leading that charge against the council, against land developers,
Mm.
anything like that, find me on Twitter, find me on Pup Space, always the same username, the Pup Hunter, and I will be there to help and support any way I can.
Fantastic, fantastic, and it's great to have that support available to these groups and these spaces. Talking about COVID, then, I mean, how has COVID affected you in your position as Mr. Puppy UK? Because obviously, if the world was opened up, you could get out there and do all these kind of things for the community. But have you found it's restricted your ability to fulfill your role as Mr. Puppy UK?
Absolutely, yeah. So the title always starts on the 1st of January and runs through to the 31st of December. That's
Mm.
always the way. So I was inaugurated in January. We had the handover at Doghouse in Stoke, which
Mhm.
was previous title holders Trumpet. That's his club. That's his event. And then I did a couple of events. I went to Manchester to Kennel Club. Birmingham, we had Birmingham Fetish Men, and they did a pose night, and I was taking part in that. Walking down the runway, striking my stuff, and I got to be a judge on Mr. Leather UK, which was the most biggest honour I've had so far, to elect the next Mr. Leather UK, and part, as we call it, the unholy trinity of us three title holders in the UK, which is Puppy UK, Leather UK, and Rubber UK. And then lockdown hit,
Yeah.
and a lot of events were cancelled straight off the bat. I was like, okay, can't go to here, can't go to there. Prides in the summer were up in the air,
Mm.
and then everything shut down. It couldn't be done.
Yeah.
I found it extremely difficult to plan anything online, because not only was I dealing with being the title holder, I was moving in the middle of a pandemic. I couldn't physically stop it. It was, I had to move. I had a new job that took precedent, because being in the public services, we were on, always on high alert. We had to get ready to change anything and everything that would come at us day by day. And I'm really sad to say, being Mr. Puppy UK, as much as I tried to join in on the online events that Manchester's Kennel Club did, Hull and Newcastle did,
Mm.
any type of social, I would try and join in, just to put my face out there to say hello. I'm
Yeah.
here if you need to talk. I'm here. It did fade into the background, and I'm very fortunate to get another try at it this year. And hopefully, now the vaccines are out there, and we've been through this next lockdown. I know the peak has passed, but it's still real danger out there.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping by the summer I can get out there as much as I can,
Mm.
get ready to elect my successor, whoever that may be,
Mm.
and just put my stamp out there, at least before potentially going on to compete for the European title.
Brilliant. Well, I mean, I wish you all the best for that. I mean, as you say, we don't know when it's all going to open up again, but it will. People have got to keep that in mind, that, nothing bad lasts forever. It's going on a long time, granted, but things will get better. And we'll get back to some kind of normality, I guess.
Absolutely.
So let's go back a bit. So how, talking about the pup community, the pup world, how did you actually get into, how did you discover pup play?
Um, actually, so I remember watching the documentary on Channel 4, The Secret Life of Pets,
Oh yeah.
and the original was the OG Mr. Puppy, my great great grandpuppy Spots, the first ever Mr. Puppy UK. I watched it and I was like, wow, this is really, really interesting. And I started looking into it online, and it started becoming a secret bedroom thing.
Mm.
And then it's really, I then met my Sash wife, who is my boyfriend. He's, as the partner of the title holder, they are known as Sash wives. He doesn't like it. He absolutely hates it. But I like to remind him every single time. I actually met him. And so basically, I've got a very, I don't know if you can see it. Ooh, I've got a very bad tattoo of three paws on my arm.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I was working in a known fast food joint that makes sandwiches at the time.
Mm.
Um, and he always used to come in because he knew when I was on shift, he'd come in on his lunch because he'd get the extra toppings and all that without, getting charged and all that. If if my franchisee knows that, I'm very sorry, but everyone does it. But he went to me, good boy, and I kind of instantly turned around. I was like, wait, are you a puppy too? And we obviously started seeing each other. He took me to my first event, which was Club Scritches,
Mm.
and I went every month ever since, right up to the point where we had to stop doing the events because of COVID. And within the Birmingham community, I got known, and then I branched out to Stoke-on-Trent with Doghouse, Manchester's Kennel Club.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to go to Newcastle's events, Paws Out or Howl, or the London events, but that was my plan through my year. But I just got myself out there, and as my confidence grew, my curiosity grew more and more and more, to the point where I found out about Mr. Puppy. Obviously, I knew about Mr. Puppy UK because of Boomy and Trumpet, but
Mm.
I got to the point of thinking, I can do this. I can go around the UK. I want to meet as many pups as I possibly can.
Yeah. That's awesome. And do you going back again? I mean, did you when you were talking earlier about the kink community and things? Do you consider, because this is a question I've asked a lot of people, do you consider the pup community to be a community or to be a kink?
I think it is both. Pup play has developed from kink of that master sub, dom sub master slave role.
Yeah.
That's how it's developed, and it has taken over into its own community. I think pup play can be a gateway into many, many kinks and fetishes as
Mm.
well.
Mm.
It's not just focused on that one, because it's not just pup play. There's rubber, there's leather, there's all sorts.
Yeah.
And I think as the communities grow more and more, the kinks within it have grown more and more and more with it as
Mm.
well.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I mean, because I started out, it was a kink thing for me, a sexual thing, but then it when I started to get into groups online, like the kennel that I'm a part of now, I did notice there was a lot of people in there that didn't sort of lean towards the sexual side, the kink side. They were more there for the support, the mental health support. All these people with different mental health issues felt more comfortable because we were all the same. We were all pups, and
Yeah,
therefore we just accepted each other. And that was a huge relief to them. That was a huge benefit. Um, and I think that's growing even more, as you say. The pup community is becoming huge. It really is. It's not going to be something that's accepted by the outside world, by people who don't know anything about the pup community. They just sort of see people wearing these hoods and just think, oh, these people are strange. They've got their own opinions, but I just think that it is vital. I think it's an amazing space for people who don't feel accepted by the outside world, by other people, and that's why I kind of say it more as a community. But you are right; its base roots were from the kink community. I mean, there's no escaping that. Even the people who want to be just part of a community and not do the NSFW side of things, that is still the brass roots, and I completely understand that. So it's very interesting that as you said, you see it as both, because at the end of the day, it is. I get that.
absolutely. And that's the thing. For like you said, for some, it is just being in that community where they're accepted, they can be themselves, they can express who they want to be, and that's absolutely fine,
Mm.
you know. And there is there is the other side of it who see it as a kink side, and want that dynamic to happen.
Yeah.
Alpha, beta, omega, handler, but dom, sub. That's absolutely fine.
Mm.
What sometimes bugs me about it is you'll have the one side saying it's social, not sexual, and then vice versa, sexual, not social.
Mm.
At the end of the day, we have formed our own community from the grassroots,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not been set in stone if it's one or the other. We are a mixture of it all, and
Mm.
however you find your place in that community is up to you. No one is going to force you. You're now a puppy, so you must have a handler. You must be, you must have an alpha somewhere. You must be part of a pack. It doesn't work like that.
No.
It works how you want it to be. If you just want to turn up to a social event every month to meet some of your like-minded friends that you're part of a group chat in, and you just want to have a drink and have a bark and a play,
Mm-hmm.
that's down to you. If you want to go to those kink clubs that do like the NSFW nights, and you want to find a dom or an alpha, or find your own puppy, again, you're more than welcome to, as long as everything is safe, consensual, and you are comfortable with it. You should never be pressurized into doing anything you don't like. That's not just here, that's just common sense in the
Exactly.
world.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do seem to think it only fits into one or the other categories.
Mm.
It doesn't, because if you don't know where the grassroots come from, you don't know where you are in the world today.
Yeah. Absolutely. Quite right. And talking about the outside world as well. I mean, these days, like you said before, there are documentaries out there about the pup community, about pup play. I mean, what's your opinion with how so far we've been represented by the media with shows on like Channel 4 or what have you? I mean, do you think they're a fair representation? Because they've obviously interviewed a few pups from the community. But I mean, do you see it as a fair balance? What you've seen so far?
No, so with the Channel 4 documentary, especially,
Mm.
when that went out, there was such a negative criticism about it. They were like,
Mm.
"Oh my god, they're weirdos. They must be into some right weird stuff."
Yeah.
The main one was they dressed like dogs. They must be into bestiality. That was, for me, just completely unacceptable. They just watched this documentary, made their own assumptions, and then go, "Okay, perhaps we should look into it more and see what it's about." Yes, there must be a sexual side to it. Okay, but I think, especially with Spot's journey on there, they really, and Spot is a very strong independent, pup. He is, like I said, he's the OG Puppy UK. He went his own path because that's how he believed he wanted to do it, and good for him.
Mm.
Why should you be stopped by it, what other people think of you, if if they don't like it? There's, in the in the in the wider world where it's predominantly heterosexual stuff we see. We don't, call out going, "Excuse me, that's weird. We don't like it."
Mm.
So why should they to us? Yes, it's different. Yes, it's not something that you see every day. It's not like I wear my hood every day walking down the streets going, "Oh, hi, it doesn't work like that."
Mm.
But we shouldn't be judged on who we are. And if you want to know about it more, talk to us. Especially myself, I've had a lot, like Birmingham Pride 2019. This was even before even considering the title.
Mm.
I had a lot of people come up to me, and they would go, "I'm not into the scene. To me it sounds weird, but I want to know." And we would have 40 to 45-minute chats just talking about everything. What it means to us. Where did it start? Where is it going?
Mm.
I've got the best memory at Birmingham Pride where this drag queen come up to us, to me and my friends, and we, was all in the bar having a drink, and she was like saying how proud she is of us for coming out to Pride, to an event where we most definitely belong,
Yeah.
and being ourselves and not hiding it, and interacting with those who want to know about it. And it got us so much we actually had a cry. We had a few drinks as well, so I think that was part of it, but we had a cry afterwards.
Yeah.
And it was, it's nice when that happens,
Mm.
but obviously with the media and all that, a lot of people have already just based their opinion on that back
Yeah.
when, how many other years ago it was now.
Mm.
that was the opinion back then. And, I think in that time we've come a long, long way and it's evolved a lot.
Yeah.
And I think people just need to start speaking to the members of the community as, as a human being, not going some weird person who dresses up as a dog and, gets on all fours every day, because we don't,
No.
there is people who do that, and that's their dynamic with whoever they are. I understand that, but there's more to it than just the bedroom kink side of it.
No, quite right. Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, I think what sort of gets me is like the newspaper article. I think it was last year, maybe in the year before. Of a I don't know if they were arrested, but they were certainly cautioned. A man
Oh
and a
yes, in
woman.
Glasgow.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, do you think that's is that giving us a bad name when people go out with some like a husband and wife where the husband's on a leash, like crawling along the floor in the street? I mean, do you think that's too much? Do you think that's going too far?
I mean, I'm very conflicted about it. So when this come out, I was kind of like, okay, good for you for
Mm,
doing that. But at the same time, I'm there like, this is the general public.
yeah.
It is not like Glasgow is 100% people in the LGBTQ plus community.
Mm,
There is families out there. There is children.
yeah.
And, if you're going out in full rubber, doing it properly, that may be, a kink to you, a fantasy to you.
Mm,
You do have to consider others as well,
yeah.
And I know, people are going, but, they don't consider us. I get that,
Mm,
but you don't want to give them the ammunition to attack us for stuff like that. So, in my opinion, it did go a bit too far in the sense of, why would you do it out in public like that?
yeah.
That publicly,
Mm,
and then wonder why you get attacked about it online and get all these negative comments.
yeah. And I think the other thing as well, you mentioned like families with children and things. I mean, people say, but it's not hurting them. They're not having sex or anything like that in public. But at the same time, we've got to understand that as a parent, you explain everything to your children about life and about what's going on. If the parents don't have a clue why people do these things, how are they going to explain to their children? The children are going to be left with unanswered questions. And I'm sure it's not something the parents are necessarily going to want to delve into and find the answers to give to their children. And I think that's what people need to consider in a way as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Um, awesome. Okay, so let's move on from the kind of side, and we're going to go on to my usual segment, because I know we're limited on time, and I don't want to keep you from your evening. So my usual segment on Kennel Island, obviously, as you probably know, it's all about being stranded on a desert island. You have 6 things that you would take to the island that's going to last every day until you're rescued. So we're going to start with, what would you take to the island as your one food that you would have to eat every single day? What's something you would never get bored of?
So I'm a big foodie. I love my food, and just to narrowing it down to one, or if
It's always a hard one.
it is a really hard one. It's a really good question. Oh, I'll just kick my laptop. I do apologise. um, I would have to say roast dinners. So
Oh, yes.
I'm just thinking of it now, like the roast potatoes, the mashed potatoes, the Yorkshire. I couldn't live. I would go nuts if I don't have a roast dinner.
Absolutely. And do you do that? Because I always have mashed potato and roast potatoes. Because I like I just like the choice.
Oh yeah,
Um,
you can't have one without the other. Absolutely not. You've
no,
got to
no,
have both.
exactly. I don't know what the Americans have for their roast dinners. I haven't really seen that side of things. I haven't asked them actually.
Yeah, I've spoken to a few Americans. They go, "What's a roast dinner?" And like, it's what we have every Sunday. It is a tradition, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't do that." And I'm just there like, "Okay, that's fine."
Are you a Yorkshire pudding person yourself? Do you have
Yes,
Yorkshire pudding? You do. Good.
absolutely. You can't have a roast dinner without Yorkshire puddings. That is sacrilege. That is like, and I know a lot of Americans might kick off about this, but that's like how they make tea. That is not the way to do it.
Uh-uh.
every time I
Exactly.
see, I get literally heart attacks every time I see it. I'm like, what are you doing? You know, if you don't know how to make it, just don't do it.
No, exactly. And do you make your own Yorkshire puddings? Are you a frozen Yorkshire pudding person?
I'm a frozen.
Oh,
I know it's shocking, but in my line of work, it's very rare I have weekends off. I'm always doing one day or the other or both, and
oh,
just simplicity, just to
yeah,
get the frozen stuff. Bung it in. If I had the time off, yes, I would make them myself, but
yeah.
98% of the time, I don't have the time off.
I get that. I get that. My work's a bit all over the place as well. Sometimes I have a Saturday, sometimes I have a Sunday, sometimes I have none. So I'm probably, guilty. Not guilty. That sounds like it's wrong. I'm probably doing the same thing myself. But I find it difficult. I mean, do you, not to be personal, but do you live alone or?
No, so I rent a room from my friends
Yep.
who are both pups as well. But there's three of us. We without COVID around, we all work. Um, right now, I'm fortunate enough in the sense of I've only been furloughed for a week throughout this whole time.
Hmm.
Um, them not so much. One of them has been furloughed for quite a while. One's got on very reduced hours. Um, so it's very fortunate that I've still got my work, and we live together. We can have a laugh and support each other too.
That's awesome. That's really. I mean, I guess I'm kind of like in a way that I live alone, but I did get COVID. I was diagnosed on the 5th of January. Had it for over 2 weeks, but I was still able to work because I was already working from home.
Yeah,
So I kind of I did I was bedridden for just over a week, but I just managed to drag myself to the computer and try and do a bit here and there. But it was a very bad time. But I was just happy that I didn't live with other people because it would have made life so much difficult for everybody. So I was, I guess, one of the fortunate ones there.
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have the NHS app, and if there's pups out there, whoever's watching this out there in the UK doesn't have the app, they go, oh, I don't need it. If I don't have it, I don't know the problem.
Mm.
Get the app. I back in the peak of the first one, get a lot of deliveries taken, because I'm one of those where I have stayed indoors as much as I possibly can.
Mm.
I wouldn't go out unless I had to. And yes, with the places like Just Eat, Deliveroo, and all that, who even deliver shopping nowadays.
Yeah.
I was doing that. I actually come into contact with someone who was positive, and it triggered my app.
Wow.
And then I had to isolate myself from everyone. And it is hard, especially when if you live on your own, it's a lot easier to do. But when you live with others, it's a lot harder because you've got to wait for your test results to come through. You've got to try and keep them away as much as possible.
Yeah.
Anything like that.
Mm.
But thankfully, I come back negative. I wasn't. We wasn't in contact long, but I still stayed through the isolation.
Mm.
And thankfully, nothing has happened as of yet.
Absolutely. Perfect. Well, let's go on to the next subject, which is drink. Now, this can be non-alcoholic, but it's up to you because I have a nice glass of wine to the side of me, so I'm fine. But what about you? What would you drink every day that you would never get bored of?
Oh, see, I couldn't do alcohol every day. I mean, I have got up on my shelf over there. I have got quite the collection. I've got so when I got a new phone last year, and it came with this voucher for like a case of wine. I was thinking, oh, I
Oh.
need two, three bottles. No, it was 12, so I've only gone for about two of them. And I've just got the vodka, the whiskey, and all that as well.
Yeah.
For me, it'd be pineapple juice.
Pineapple
Um,
juice.
yeah, I can't get bored of that. Pineapple's my favorite fruit, and before people go, "Oh, he's a heathen," yes, I have it on pizza. Get over it. It's my choice.
No, flashbacks to my other kennel programs. Well, I mean, each to their own. Each to their own. I've never. I think I have tasted pineapple. I must have at some point in my life. I can't have been that sheltered, but I can't remember the taste of it. What's it? How would you describe pineapple as a taste?
It's really really sweet. It's like it's super sweet, but it has got that tanginess to it as well.
Okay.
And it's just I don't know. It's one of those that until you've tasted it, you can't really go, that's pineapple. But I
Hmm.
don't know what it is. It's one of those ones that does cause the controversy, but I love it.
I think A few years ago, I was living in New Zealand for like 7 years, and they've got a sweet over there called pineapple lumps, and it's sort of like almost like cinder toffee, I guess, like a crunchy, but it's pineapple with pineapple flavor covered in chocolate.
Oh,
Something that you
nice.
would probably like. I don't know.
That does sound really nice,
It does,
actually.
doesn't it? We'll have to send you some if we can get hold of some. Yeah. So I think I probably have tasted it, but no. I mean, I never judge people for what they put on their pizzas anyway. That was just something that triggered me for some bizarre reason. I don't know why. Awesome. Yeah, a pineapple juice sounds refreshing, and it's something that you can keep hydrated on, I suppose. Nice. Very nice. All right, going on to things to keep you entertained. So I've said this on my other casts before, but I'm not a huge reader. I have read a few books, but how about yourself? I mean, do you have like a favorite genre of book or a favorite author?
Um, Back when I was younger, I used to read a lot. I love books, and I think as I've grown older, I've kind of grown apart from it.
Mm,
Um, Now, as much as this is a bit of a controversial topic, for me, it would be the Harry Potter series. And now I know J.K. Rowling, what she has done is completely unacceptable. Coming out with those remarks about transgendered members of the LGBTQ community, it is not acceptable, and I do not support her in any way.
hmm
But those books to this day are still something I will read. I will read them, but I won't support the author behind them.
No, no, and that's fair enough. I mean, it's still this is the tricky thing. I mean, it still does not take away from the story. I mean, the story is what captured so many people's imaginations.
Absolutely.
That's why it was one of the biggest sellers of all time. It was an incredible story, and it had a lot of hidden messages in it that related to a lot of people. So yes, you don't need to support the author. But we can't go burning books and things like that, something ridiculous and extreme, just because
Of
we
course, yeah.
we don't agree with the author. So I'm with you there. I really like the Harry Potter series, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think it's one of those books that amazingly was kind of written for children and adults, and did it so well. That everybody, literally everybody, could enjoy it. It was incredible.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And that's why I loved them. I was always excited for the next one to come out, and
Yeah,
I had to have it.
yeah.
It wasn't one of these things where I could wait. I could wait for a few weeks. Right? No, as soon as it was out, I would make sure I had it.
Perfect. And what about movies then? I mean, if you say Harry Potter now, it's not going to be very original, is it? So you're going to have to
Now,
change it. Go on.
so for me, I was thinking about this. So when you sent it over to me, I was like, oh, movies. So I'm very mixed in my movies. I'd have to say the Avengers series. Like
Yay.
that would have to be it for me right now
Yeah.
because I just love them so much. I don't know why, because I've never been a Marvel fan or a DC fan like loyally or anything like that.
Mm.
But it just when the first one came out, Assemble, I just really got into it, and then obviously the rest to come out. So it would have to be them ones.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I love Marvel in general, to be honest, because there's always that battle between Marvel and DC, and I find Marvel, as a gay person myself, I think Marvel is more universal in that way. It's more accepting of everybody, where DC is a lot darker and sort of masculine, and oh, you have to be
Yeah.
manly and blah blah blah. I saw that, and I don't know why I saw that, but I just felt I just felt it was just a bit too. I don't know. I can't say segregating, but it didn't feel as accepting the DC universe, which is a
Yeah,
shame.
not as inclusive.
Yeah, exactly. But Marvel was. I mean, it was such a sad loss, for the Marvel community. But I think, yeah, I'm with you there. The Avengers series were just incredible. How they kind of linked into each film as well was very,
Definitely,
very
yeah.
clever. So yeah, it's not. I mean, would you be able to narrow it down to one of them Avengers movies? Do you think?
Mm. Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron's a good one. What was the guy's name who played Ultron? I always forget his name. Because he was in the Blacklist. Was Have you ever seen the Blacklist?
Is that the TV series?
Yeah.
I have because I've got it on LTV. I've only actually recently started watching it. I'm
Ah,
only like, in the first one or two episodes because it's on the box sets. I can't remember. Oh,
I
that's
don't know his name. I
gone away
never
from me.
remember names. But he was a very very good actor. He was a very very good actor. Even as a CGI, he was still a very good actor.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, I liked Age of Ultron as well. I thought it was very good one. How about song? Now you can't choose an album. It has to be one particular song. This is the hard.
Oh, so my music choices are very stereotypical of what you expect a gay person to listen to. Being a 90s child, it was stuff like Seven Steps, and
Yeah.
all that. I've gone through the ever changing music of the of the new millennium and obviously the decades. Oh, if I had to pick right now, to this day, this is still my favorite song of all time. It would have to be Katy Perry Firework.
Nice. That is a decent song. That is a very decent song. What about what's the song? You need to calm down. What do you think of that song? Because it was specifically made to sort of highlight ignorance about the gay community. What did you think of that song? I'm just curious.
Um, if I'm honest, I hadn't heard it that much.
Hmm.
I had heard it, and I was I didn't really know the meaning behind it.
Okay.
But to listen to about it, saying you need to cut, I was a bit okay, yeah, about it. Didn't really have an opinion on it.
Yeah. That's fair. I mean, yeah, I'd never heard of it until one of my terrible, terrible guilty pleasures is watching RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, I heard it. I heard it on there mentioned a few times, and just I had to listen to the song again, and then I heard the message, and then saw the video, and thought, okay, she's actually sticking up for the gay community and saying,
Oh
just
yeah,
let
absolutely. Yeah.
people live. What's it got to do with you? And I thought that was absolutely brilliant. It's so well received as well. All right, so last one is your personal item. What one personal item would keep you sane throughout your stay on the island?
It would have to be my mobile. It would be my mobile phone.
Yeah,
Like I know that's probably so typical of that, but this would keep me sane enough to keep going every day.
yeah. I mean, I guess it connects you to everyone and everything. That's your whole life is on the mobile these days, I
Oh
suppose.
yeah, absolutely. And especially through COVID, where everything's been done online through places like Teams and Telegram, etc. So
Mm.
absolutely.
And you on all the social media apps? Can people find you on all the social media apps?
Yeah, I mean, Facebook. It's not a hunter on there. It's my human self. But Twitter, Pup Space, Instagram. I'm on there somewhere. I think. I'm everywhere pretty much. Pup Space definitely. I haven't used it a lot recently, but
Yeah.
um, I should really start using it more.
Yes, you should. I'm sure you've got lots of followers out there that want to follow you, and yeah.
Yeah, it's all the same username, the Pup Hunter. So I'm around.
Awesome. So, what are your plans for when the world opens back up? What do you see yourself doing?
I want to get to as many events as I can.
Yeah.
I have missed everyone so much. My main goal at the moment is to help Club Scriptures find a new venue for now, because obviously when Eden closed, we are out of a venue. I am in talks with people. So to get back to Scriptures, get back to my home event, I've always called it Hunter's Home because it's where I started. I wouldn't be with this title without any of them. Boomy being a former one, Two Clean, Kaz, Shadow, Foon, all of the team, Luigi, Pastel, you know, we as a team have grown and grown, and the community has grown and grown with us in Birmingham. And I just can't wait to get back there and see all the regulars that we see. But then traveling to Kennel Club, How, Paul's Out, going to London, Stoke-on-Trent's Doghouse, all of the events just to see people again. And then prides and special weeks. So like the big three, obviously Birmingham, Manchester, London Pride,
Mm,
Fetish Week in London, Berlin, Darklands, where I will be competing for Europe hopefully next year.
nice.
Um, just to get out there and just show that I am here. I want to be this Mr. Puppy UK who has done something rather than had to be stuck indoors and not really knowing what to do.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I'm sure you will get your chance. Because you would have represented really well if the world had been opened up. You could have done so much, but hey, you just got to keep looking forwards, as you say, and then and make this world a bit of a better place if we can. That's what your role is all about, just to create understanding and awareness and love and support. I completely get that. That's awesome. All right. Well, do you want to give a message to anybody out there before we head off?
So, just to all the pups out there, it has been a very, very hard 12 months. We're almost up to the year here in the UK where COVID put us into lockdown and everything started shutting down. It has been a hard time, and I am so proud of everyone leaning on everyone else, being that support to everyone. I know everyone's not been able to see everyone. I know some have formed bubbles and done that, but just because we've got this vaccine now, just because we've gone past the peak of this next wave, just stick to the rules still, hands, face, space, keep going with it. We will be back together soon. And when we can, there will be one almighty party.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Pup Hunter. Thank you so much,
Thank you for
ladies.
having me.
Anytime, anytime, honestly. So thank you very much, Mr. Puppy UK Pup Hunter 2020-2021. And everybody out there, stay safe. Make sure you check out The Kennel on Discord. You can find The Kennel social on YouTube as well to see more of these wonderful videos of our little chats and Kennel Island. So thank you very much again for watching. Thank you for joining me once more. Mwah! Thank you, thank you.
Mwah.
All right, take care of yourself.
And you.
Bye.
Bye.
If you would like to get to know other pups and critters around the world, be sure to click the link tree below and you'll find links to our Discord server, our Twitter page and Instagram. Signing up to our community is quick and simple and it'll be the best decision you ever made. So come and check us out today and we'll see you at the Kennel on Discord. All